Outstanding. Now, with the Mama Waldy character, I remember watching those black exploitation films and actually thinking it was a bit campy as a kid, not being sophisticated enough to understand the underlying uh, narrative, if you will. How are you helping update that narrative with your writing style for a modern audience in a graphic novel form?
That's a great question because I fell in love with a lot of this stuff when I was a kid. So it was campy. I really didn't know the difference. It was like, as I revisited these things that I loved from my childhood year after year, and I saw some of the problematic elements beyond the camp, just that you saw that a lot of times you had great actors doing the best that they could do with what they were given. Low budgets, sometimes questionable scripts. Um, I felt like in a graphic novel, I could extricate some of the problematic elements, but I could also elevate the idea. If you think of William Marshall, who was a Shakespearean like trained actor, who was Othello, on stage, and really to me embodied what Bela Lugosi was with Dracula, and in a different setting, in a different dynamic, would have come off the same way. As a fan of blaxploitation in its time, if you look at what's under blaxploitation, there was a subversive, rebellious feel that was there. A lot that dealt with politics, race, culture, a lot of things that mirror what's happening in our world today. Um, the fashion may have changed, the style may have changed, but a lot of the issues are the same. So I felt like resurrecting, no pun intended, uh, Prince Mama Waldy, aka Blacula, to a new world, the '70s, idea to a 21st century world will sort of be interesting to sort of create a bridge and see some of the parallels and just open up some different discussion for yesterday versus today. Other monsters. I mean, I think Dracula is round one. There's still other monsters, I think, in the pantheon of classic monsters for Blacula, or Prince Mama Waldy to face. Um, Not to give away what happens in volume one. Hopefully, volume one of three. That's the goal. Because this is a fully realized story. It's not just your typical graphic novel where it's 20 pages. This is 100 plus pages. And so it's a fully realized story. Um, I want to, as I'm dealing with the emotional, sociological, etc. aspects of what's going on in the world, I want to still have fun and still delve into the genre aspects of, monster against monster, and still go back to classic genre and basically classic in the sense when I say classic, the universal monsters. So there are other, not to give it completely away, there are other antagonists to come up against Blacula that we've yet to meet. And I hope to be able to bring those to the table as well. I know Jason from Killadelphia. We're partners on that. And Jason is a fine artist as much as he is an illustrator. And we know each other because we've done virtually 30 issues right now of Killadelphia. So I know, illustrator, a lot of times people think it's just drawing pictures. And really, it's more like a director in film. Like you're actually telling a story. I'm writing the script, but he's bringing it to life. So a lot of that emotional stuff, subtleties and nuance and all of that, you're leaning on an artist to sort of interpret all of those things that go beyond the words. And Jason is such an incredible artist, and we know each other's moves that I sort of wrote to him and the things about his work that I love and that he can pull off. And I think he did an incredible job. He did the colors as well, which is unique
Hmm.
because most guys either do pencils or pencils and ink, but he did every aspect of the art, um, and from top to bottom. And so, I was just really, really, I felt like the book and Prince Mamuwalde was in good hands because of him.
Now, could you tell me a little bit about your work on Killadelphia. That was has been making the rounds at cons for quite some time. You said you guys were on 30 issues, and it blows my mind because I remember first hearing the title. Could you please tell our readership a little bit about what that book's about and what that experience has been about? And what are some of the aspects that you used on Blacula?
Killadelphia is it's about a lot of things, but the core narrative is about a father and son. Dad is a homicide detective in Philadelphia. Son Dad is on the trail of a serial killer, and one day, while he's after said serial killer, he ends up dead. His son has to begrudgingly go home and close out his affairs. And he stumbles upon his journal. And as a kid, he was forbidden to read his father's journal. But since dad is dead and he never really liked his father, he picks it up, he starts to read it. And he finds that dad believed that the serial killer he was on the trail of was actually